Yo, what's good, YouTube? It's boardzy, and this is going to be a review of the Pwnage Ultra Custom Symmetrical. This is a mouse that has had a lot of hype, and the embargo finally lifted today, so I'm able to review it. Been using this mouse for around the past week, and I feel like my opinion on it is pretty solid. This mouse on paper does seem a bit too good to be true, so I'm here to crush your expectations. This is a $90 one-to-one clone of the Zowie S2. It is lighter, but I'm not going to call it like ultra lightweight. This configuration I have set up with the solid sides, which I think is like basically a necessity, and the honeycomb shell is 74 grams. This one full honeycomb 72, and if I were to put this solid shell on the white one, it would weigh 76. So those are the weights. I weighed it before recording. Yeah, they feel all more or less the same. The main differences you're going to be noticing are like the honeycombs versus no honeycombs, not really the actual weight, since it is in like the 1 to 2 gram range. And this mouse, it seems to be a little bit back heavy, not to the extent the G305 is, but you see, I think the battery is down there. So yeah, it does seem to be a bit heavier towards the bottom. Nothing that like really hindered me in actual use. But yeah, I think this mouse being in the mid 70s is fine because it's the first like good S2 clone we've seen. The HK Gaming Naus M was a nightmare, and now this is a much better quality one. It's not perfect, but it's the best that we currently have. The quality of it, I remember when Pwnage first started out, the quality was totally shit. The side buttons had like the worst post travel I've ever seen. So that is no longer an issue whatsoever. These are some of the best built side buttons and best side buttons I've ever used in general. The side, rock solid, no flexing. The bottom doesn't even like have any holes, so no issues there either. And in hand, this mouse does feel very solid. I wouldn't say the click feeling is really that good. If I had to like find one of few flaws in this mouse, I would say click feeling's definitely there. I kind of think it's due to the modularity, just having like the buttons that are so easy to like swap off. Maybe that just fucks it up, I don't know. Also, while I'm on this topic, if you can imagine the color, you can get it on this mouse. These are legit available in like every fucking color of the rainbow. So yeah, ultra custom, woohoo! And my main contention with the switches is just that this quality seems to be deteriorating pretty quickly. I haven't even had this mouse for a week, and it's already starting to feel noticeably mushier on my left click, and my right click is a lot easier to activate and has very little tactility compared to the left click, similar to the Model O wireless. So really, click feel isn't the best, but in-game, it gets the job done, so if you aren't too nitpicky, you won't care. But just on the black version, it's so much snappier because I've been using this mouse a lot less. Why have I been using it less, you may ask? Look at these fucking holes on the side. And I just got my Ultralight 2 for a comparison. You can see how small the final mouse holes are compared to the Pwnage ones. And the Pwnage ones don't even save that much weight. Like, the weight difference between these two mice is fucking like 2 grams. And it could totally ruin the mouse for you depending on how hard you grip. So I would say it's a lot safer to get the solid shell, and a bit more preferable too, in my opinion. I like just having so much freedom to do whatever I want with my ring and pinky fingers. And you really get that more with the solid shell at the expense of, once again, 2 grams. So next thing I'm going to talk about is the scroll wheel. Just going to quickly go over. It scrolls as a medium amount of resistance. You can get the defined steps, and it's like sort of silent. I don't know what more you could want. It clicks perfectly fine. There is a DPI button. The DPI button used to be customizable. I don't know why they changed it. Don't really care too much either. Yeah. This mouse, I'll talk about like the charging situation. Oh my god, guys, guess what? USB-C. And I'm not gonna lie, I still don't really understand the appeal of USB-C. I guess, woo, you can plug it in either way. That's pretty cool, I guess. You're gonna have to be charging this mouse a bit more than most. On 1000 hertz, this mouse dies. Okay, let's say, I'll use it one day, then I don't charge it. I wake up the next day, I use it, and then the mouse dies like that afternoon. So really, the battery life was surprising because it actually died, unlike the Superlight, which I've literally charged 4 times since I've gotten it. But oh, it uses USB or micro USB. Bad. So yeah, still really very opinionated about the charging situation. But this mouse, you know, the dongle, it's very simple. Plug the USB-C in, plug the connector in, and then boom, you use mouse. Also, you are going to want to download the software because on default, it's on 500 hertz. And that 1 millisecond of input lag, God, that is the reason you are bad at video games. Next, I'm going to talk about the mouse feet. They actually provide 2 extra sets in the box. That's pretty impressive. They're different thicknesses as well, so it's really only 1 extra set, because one of them's like fucking 0.4, maybe even less. Like, who would ever use those? Oh my god, off-stream follow, so sick. But yeah, I didn't really like the feet. On every artisan pad I've used, they were really like smoothed out and slow. It was kind of interesting, especially compared to something like core pads. Holy fuck. Yeah, you can basically just see. And it's not like there were any problems with them, like with the thickness or the edges. It's just the quality of these skates compared to something like core pads. There's really just no comparison. You can see you really want that milky color with PTFE, and these just felt really slow on like a array of pads. I enjoyed it most on like coated control pads like the fucking Long Tang, because you basically can't even notice mouse feet on those pads. So that's kind of a shame. I wish they were a bit higher quality. Are they even like tapered? I don't think so. Whatever. Next thing I'm going to talk about is the sensor. It's a 3335, and I don't know how to feel about it really. It doesn't feel like something's off. Like, I adjusted to this mouse just fine, but like when I'm switching up every time I die with the Superlight simply just feels like more responsive, like snappier. Maybe it is just because it's like lighter, has better feet. I don't really know what it is. It might be the sensor, and I don't want it to seem like I'm schizo posting, so I'm not going to put all of the blame on the sensor. All I'm going to say is that when I was testing this mouse, something felt a bit more sluggish than both the Zowie S2 with the 3360 and the G Pro Wireless Superlight with the Epic 25K sensor. And this wasn't like game breaking for me. I could easily adjust to this mouse and then it would feel just fine. But when I am like directly comparing it, just swiping it compared to the Superlight, it just did feel a bit more sluggish. But like I said, that could just be so many things. And now the last thing to really talk about is the shape. Like I said before, 1-to-1 clone of the S2. So small to medium hands, claw grip. That's really where this is going to thrive. For fingertip, it's like viable, but I feel like there's a lot of like mice that fit the formula for a good fingertip mouse way better than this. However, if you do take the shell off and fingertip, it does work. Like, you could unironically do this. I don't know why you would, but like, it works. And it honestly might make the weight balancing feel a bit better. I feel like this mouse is really just better than the S2. It's a friendlier version of the S2, I guess. It doesn't have the Zowie scroll wheel, which is definitely the boogeyman in some people's eyes. The coating is miles better. Like, the Zowie coating is just such a sweat magnet. I hate it. And yeah, it's wireless, which is obviously way better than the Zowie stock cable. And coming in at $90 to $100, this mouse is not going to get the boardzy seal of approval. It just has so many tiny issues that I've pointed out, and they really do add up and just make this mouse feel not as good overall as something like the Superlight or even the Viper Ultimate. I'll do another wireless mouse roundup where I compare this to like other top wireless options. But yeah, I'm sad to see that this is not going to be getting the seal of approval, but it is a good mouse for claw grip, and it's wireless, so that is something that not many options, and it's affordable. So yeah, that's going to be all for this video. Peace.